On a freezing winter morning, Elijah, a man who had lost everything, stumbled upon a leather wallet stuffed with more cash than he had seen in years. His empty stomach twisted, and his cold hands shook as he held what could mean survival: warm food, a motel bed, new shoes. But tucked inside the wallet was an ID, belonging to Charlotte Davenport, a woman from the wealthiest part of the city. With just one decision, Elijah could vanish into anonymity with her fortune. Yet something inside him whispered that this wallet was more than money. It was someone's life folded in leather. What he chose to do next shocked everyone, especially the powerful woman who never expected a homeless stranger to change her world forever. Elijah once had a name people respected. Years ago, he worked long hours at a local factory, his steady paycheck enough to cover rent, food, and the occasional gift for his aging mother. His life wasn't glamorous, but it was stable, predictable, safe. But the factory closed. Layoffs swept through like a storm, stripping hundreds of men of their jobs, their stability, and their dignity. For Elijah, the descent was quick. With no savings and a mother who soon fell ill, every cent went into her medication. When she passed away, Elijah's world crumbled. Bills piled up, eviction notices followed, and before he knew it, his belongings were reduced to what he could carry in a torn backpack. Life on the streets wasn't kind. Each day was a battle against hunger, cold, and the gnawing emptiness of being unseen. People walked past him without a glance, their eyes sliding away as if he were invisible. He had become a shadow, blending into alleys, subway vents, and soup kitchen lines. Yet through it all, Elijah clung to one thing: his integrity. Even in desperation, he never stole, never harmed anyone. His pride was battered, but a small ember of dignity still burned inside him. On this particular winter morning, Elijah's body ached from sleeping on frozen pavement. His stomach had been empty for 2 days. He shuffled down a side alley, searching trash bins for anything edible. His numb fingers scraped against cold metal until suddenly they touched something soft, smooth, and unusual: a leather wallet. He pulled it out, surprised by its weight. Opening it, his breath caught. Neatly folded inside were crisp $100 bills, several credit cards, and a driver's license. His heart pounded in disbelief. This wasn't just money. This was survival. For a fleeting moment, hope surged through him. With this, he could buy food, find shelter, even start fresh. He could live like a human being again. But then his eyes fell on the ID card. Charlotte Davenport. The name meant little at first, but the address printed below was in the city's wealthiest district. The photograph showed a woman with elegant pearl earrings and a confident smile. She was someone important, someone who wouldn't miss a few bills, someone who likely had more wealth than she knew what to do with. Elijah closed the wallet and sat on the curb. His hunger gnawed at him, urging him to take just one bill for food. Who would notice? Who would care? But deep down, he knew the truth. The wallet wasn't just money. It was someone's life, an identity, a trust. And if he let desperation destroy the last piece of his dignity, what would remain of him? That night, he tucked the wallet deep inside his coat, untouched. The money tempted him, but the decision was made. Tomorrow he would find Charlotte Davenport and return it. The next morning Elijah rose early, his body stiff from the cold concrete. Clutching the wallet, he walked to the bus station. He counted his remaining coins, barely enough for a one-way ticket. With trembling hands, he boarded the bus. As the city blurred past the windows, Elijah felt out of place. His tattered coat and worn-out shoes contrasted sharply with the polished passengers who threw suspicious glances his way. But he held on tightly to the wallet, his proof of purpose. When the bus stopped at the edge of the wealthy district, Elijah stepped off into another world. Wide boulevards lined with luxury cars, manicured lawns, and gates taller than any building he'd slept under. Every passerby seemed to notice him instantly, their stares sharp and disapproving. He didn't belong here, and he knew it. Finally, he stood before Charlotte Davenport's mansion. Tall iron gates loomed over him, guarded by uniformed security. Elijah hesitated, then approached. The guard frowned, eyeing his appearance. "You're not supposed to be here." Elijah explained he had something important for the homeowner. Skeptical, the guard nearly dismissed him until Elijah revealed the leather wallet. Recognition flickered across the guard's face. Within minutes, Elijah was escorted inside. The mansion's grandeur stunned him. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, and walls adorned with art worth more than he could imagine. He felt small, dirty, like a stain on something pristine. Then she appeared. Charlotte Davenport. She descended the staircase gracefully, her heels clicking against the polished floor. Her eyes narrowed when she saw Elijah, suspicion etched in every line of her face. Without a word, Elijah extended the wallet. Charlotte took it, her movements cautious. She opened it, scanning the contents. Her expression shifted. Shock, disbelief, then something softer. Every dollar, every card, everything was intact. Why? Her eyes seemed to ask, though she didn't speak. Elijah lowered his gaze. For him, the answer was simple. It wasn't his. Charlotte studied him, silence stretching between them. In her world, people lied, cheated, and stole without hesitation. Yet here was a man who had nothing, who could have taken everything and chose instead to return it untouched. Finally, she spoke. She asked him if he had eaten. His body's hesitation answered for him. She ordered her staff to bring food. As Elijah sat at the grand dining table, the aroma of freshly baked bread and roasted chicken overwhelmed him. He ate slowly, almost reverently, afraid it might vanish. Charlotte watched, her mind turning. For years, she had lived in a bubble of wealth, surrounded by people who wanted her fortune. Yet this man, invisible to society, embodied an honesty she hadn't seen in decades. When Elijah finished, Charlotte surprised him. She offered him a job as a groundskeeper at her estate. Elijah froze, unsure if he had heard correctly. A job meant stability, dignity, a chance to start again. At first he thought it was pity, but Charlotte's voice carried no condescension, only trust. "You returned what others would have taken," she said quietly. "That tells me more about you than anything else." Elijah accepted. Days turned into weeks, and slowly his life began to transform. No longer did he sleep on cold pavement. He had a warm bed, meals and purpose. He trimmed hedges, maintained gardens, and found joy in honest work. His hands, once calloused from hardship, now built beauty. He saved his paychecks, careful with every dollar. For the first time in years, he dreamed of something bigger. A home of his own. Maybe even helping others who still wandered the streets as he once had. Charlotte often visited, sometimes walking with him through the gardens. She listened to his story, learning of his struggles, his resilience, and his mother's memory that had guided his choices. His honesty inspired her. Moved, Charlotte began funding shelters and job programs for the homeless, using Elijah's story as proof that dignity could be restored. For Elijah, returning that wallet was never about reward. It was about holding on to the last piece of himself that the streets hadn't stolen, his integrity. And in staying true to that, he gained more than he could have imagined. Not just food or shelter, but a second chance at life. Elijah's story spread quietly among Charlotte's circles. The tale of the homeless man who returned a wealthy woman's wallet became a modern parable. A reminder that sometimes the people the world overlooks hold the greatest treasures, not in their pockets, but in their hearts.